What's good, everybody? We are back again with another phenomenal episode of the No Hedging Podcast.
Yes, sir.
I go by the name of Rip16, the GOAT.
I am Ty the Jet.
And we are the mighty No Hedging Podcast duo. And as you know, there was a lot going on for week what was that? 15 of the NFL season. But more importantly, it was a lot going on with us. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of action. It was a lot of moving pieces going on. So we're going to get into that in a second. But we like to pop this show off with a little thing that I like to call GOAT Talk. So can I get a Stone Cold Steve Austin? What? Man, listen. Sometimes the teams don't do what you want them to do, right? But it's okay. We bounce back like round ball. What? The props come in and they save the day a lot. You know what I'm saying? I had a couple bets, couple parlays. They didn't go the way I wanted them to go, but the props love me. NBA Cup, loved it. You went to the game.
Oh, yeah.
Loved it. What? So, I mean, I just want to tell anybody, if it's off right now, it's all right. They ain't got to believe in you. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? People are okay with you betting until you bet on yourself. What?
You got to bet on yourself.
Always bet on yourself. I put it on me every time. And as you can see, I put it on every time. So with that being said, we're going to bounce back today. We coming for some more big dubs. We came to bounce back like round ball. We came to do our thing. I'm the can man. Anybody can get it. And we need y'all to like, share, comment, subscribe to this channel, man. So, oh yeah, props made easy in the link. As I was just talking about. Basketball. It's in full effect. I'm telling you right now, those 2s and 3-man props, especially right now, because they got all these Christmas deals going on. So you get one player with a discount, and you get you one player off the top of the list on that props made easy. I like to go projection differential. I like to get a good high projection differential. Pair that with a nice prize picks discount or something like that. Good money. Good money. Trust me.
Yeah.
So hit that link in the description. Props made easy for your props bets. It will make you some monies, because it sure as hell made me some.
They're giving out free stuff.
Anything else you gotta tell the people before we dive in?
Hell nah. Let's dive, baby. Let's go.
All right, man. Well, you know how we like to start the show off. It's a wonderful classic segment that we got around here. Something we like to call takeaways.
Takeaways.
So what do you got?
Yeah, I think one of my first takeaway is Josh Allen is really him. Himothy the second.
Him all alone?
Him the second.
Him the second.
Himothy the third. Whatever you want to call him, he is him. Josh Allen, they lost against the Rams in a crazy game the week prior, but they were looking really good against Detroit. Mind you, Detroit is a little banged up. So that's kind of what my takeaway is leading into that, is like the Lions, they're so banged up. They gave up 40-some-odd points to the Bills because, one, their defense is banged up. But now you got, Monty, who is out for the season, which is a big hit on the offense because that 1-2 combo with, Sonic Knuckles, David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, that impacts the offense a little bit. I mean,
it definitely does impact the Knuckles. I mean, not having Knuckles out there definitely impacts. It impacts the Lions' run game to an extent, but at the same time, Jahmyr Gibbs has been playing really well.
Yeah.
So it's not like they can't generate a run game. You know what I'm saying? And then they have Jameson Williams back, and then they have Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Tim Patrick has showed up for a couple key possessions when they need him, and Laporta is coming on. So, I mean, you have an accurate quarterback, you have a passing attack, and you still have a very good, probably I haven't double checked his stats, but I mean, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is on pace to, at least
1,000.
get 1,000 yards, right?
Monty got 1,000.
Monty got 775.
Was that Monty? Oh, no, that was Bijan Robinson that got 1,000 last week.
Yeah, Monty got 775. I think Bijan got 1,000 all-purpose. He don't have 1,000 rushing. But regardless, Jahmyr Gibbs is still formidable at running back, and he can definitely handle the starting position for sure. And they got enough of a rush attack to be able to generate a good play action, So I mean, I'm not OD concerned. I mean, of course, having David Montgomery out there to punch in some of those touchdowns, especially at the goal line, but I mean, they can still get it done with Jahmyr Gibbs. And I think the philosophy of the Lions has been next man up, and they managed to, whoever they have in personnel, go out there and play hard. So I think that's kind of, it hurts them, but I don't think it completely puts them out of that. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I just think, teams that are healthier obviously are going to be the teams that have the advantage.
For sure.
The Lions been pretty healthy for a good portion of the year. Obviously, you got Aiden Hutchinson, but early on. But as an overall collective, the group has been healthier throughout the beginning of the season. And you got teams like the Rams, who's coming along. They're healthier now, and they're starting to hit their stride. I think it's all about the team's health. And then this game, people were talking about Dan Campbell and, making the decision to do the onside kick and all of that, which I understand.
Kick, I did not love it.
I understand it because they were trying to get a possession,
it was
right?
Too
They
early,
they couldn't stop the Bills from doing anything.
It did, but it was way too early in the clock.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'd rather do it earlier when you have an opportunity to kind of catch up some ground rather than do it late and then it's like, now you're done. You know what I mean?
I mean, I get that. I mean, it's thinking outside of the box, but at the same time, I think that's one of those things where it's like it's a reason why people don't generally do that.
Right. But then on the flip side of that, it's like, okay, he gets the conversion and they recover it. Now he's a genius. So it's like,
yeah, but you still got plenty of time for the Bills to also come back, and you haven't been stopping them. So my whole thing is like, if you're in an onside kick situation, it's already shaky. Regardless, I just felt like it wasn't necessarily the time. I get it. Like, if you recover it, of course, it's going to look good on paper. But at the same time, it was so much time on the clock left. Even if you got it and tied up the game, the Bills got time to go back down there and score
I think he was just looking for something to get some momentum because it was like they couldn't stop nothing. So we need to get a spark somewhere. It wasn't the defense. It wasn't really the offense. Let's see if our special teams can kind of do something to get a spark. To get us going a little bit, but I mean, it didn't work out. It didn't work out. I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, I think that's something to watch as we kind of enter the playoffs. Is the health of that Detroit Lions team because initially, I mean, obviously they were a juggernaut going into it, but now they have to make adjustments as far as what we need to do with this defense, with our injuries, what we need to do. Offensively, they're not really too affected, but I mean, I do think Montgomery plays a big role on that offense.
For sure. So I mean, with that being said, kind of parlaying this, you know how much we love a good parlay around here. That loss to the Bills now puts the Lions at 12-2, and the W's from the Eagles and the Vikings also put them at 12-2. So we have the Lions, Eagles, and the Vikings all sitting at 12-2 inside of the East. I mean the NFC. So who's the best team in the NFC? Because we got 3 teams at 12-2, and then you just mentioned some injuries for the Lions, who seemed like they were a runaway train for the top spot in the NFC. However, recent developments have switched that. The Eagles have went on a long win streak. What is that, 8 or 9 games in a row? And now we have the Vikings on their ass for the division, and also with the same record. And they have to play each other before the end of the season. Yeah. So, who's the best team in the NFC?
I think Philly is. I think Philly is. They got an easy schedule coming up. They got Washington, the Giants, and I think who else they got? They got easy. They could easily win out the rest of the season with the remaining schedule that they have.
Probably got Dallas too.
Dallas, that's a dub.
All divisions.
Washington, that's going to be the hardest
games.
game. Yeah, they got division games for the rest of the season, so they can. This game this week against Washington, that's going to be a very important game for them to seal up that number 1 seed in the NFC. But I think it's a winnable game. I think Cowboys and the Giants are obviously winnable games. So I think based off of the remaining schedules, and also they're healthy. They've been playing very well. They had a little noise, last week with the A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts thing.
Yeah.
But A.J. had a day. Jalen had a decent day.
And then he got hurt.
Yeah. But I just think Philly is a complete team, offensively, defensively. They've been playing well. And just as a whole, they're a healthy group. And outside of the noise that just came across, in their building, nobody, they're the team, but then you have the sleeping Vikings who've been quietly building up and getting wins here and there, and only lost 2 games, but they do play in division with the Lions and stuff like that. So I think out of those 3, I think the Philadelphia Eagles, and I just think in the NFC as a whole, the Eagles are the best team right now.
I can't put too much argument against. I don't know if I'm quite ready to pack it up on the Lions after losing to a very good Bills team. I don't know if I'm ready to pack it up on them as being the best team quite yet, but I do understand that, and you make a very compelling argument. I'll say that. But speaking of best and worst, it's another wonderful segment around here that we've grown to love a lot.
I love it.
It's a little thing we like to call Besides the Chiefs.
Besides them.
Yeah, man. So we already know. Patrick Mahomes, you went out there and you did it again. They actually managed to win by more than a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. Beat the brakes off of Cleveland.
Yes, they did.
On the road.
Cleveland had themselves an atrocious looking day without David Njoku out there. And my fantasy really needed David Njoku. I lost by 0.40 points. Less than half.
All you needed was a catch.
One catch. I just need somebody to catch the ball one time. Crazy. However, didn't happen. But besides the Chiefs, who else you got? Who you liking as a good contender or pretender after 15 weeks of football? Who is looking like one of the ones that might be able to step in the playoffs and, make a little splash? Or who do you think that was supposed to be in the playoffs that just kind of fell off of a cliff? And I don't know about them no more.
I don't know. We got the Seahawks on alert.
Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks. We got them on alert because of that C-grade performance that they had against Green Bay.
Yeah, Green Bay came out there and cooked them.
Yeah, at home.
Josh Jacobs was out there doing
Seattle looked. They look awful that game. Like, you got this. Listen, look out, Green Bay. Green Bay, Jordan Love, that team. I don't know what it is. They're a young team, but they are legit.
So Green Bay might be a contender, and the Seahawks probably pretenders at this point in the season.
Yeah.
You think the Seahawks are out of it in terms of winning the division?
No, they still have a shot. Because it's them between them and the Rams. But I do think I give the Rams the edge.
Right.
Because I do think the Rams are a better team.
It's quiet as kept. Seahawks are still on Washington's ass for a wild card spot too, even if they don't win the division, because they're 8-6. Washington's 9-5. So, I don't know how that works out with a tie between the two teams, but Washington got some people on their heels, right? You got a tough game against the Eagles. You got the Falcons who just switched up quarterbacks and they're fighting for a spot. And they're 7-7, so they're 2 games behind. But the Falcons also play against Washington before the end of the season, so We got some interesting things going on in that 7th slot for the wild card spot. So I think the Seahawks are definitely in trouble. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're completely out of it. I say like y'all are half a step away from being true pretenders.
No,
but I don't think
honestly
think
they're pretenders. I think the Rams are the better team in that division.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think the better team will enter the playoffs. This was a huge game for Seattle. They beat Green Bay, then that changes my whole mind, changes my whole perspective. That win against Green Bay, if they win in that Green Bay game, then that would probably solidify them.
That's a tough axe though to beat Green Bay because it's that whole division outside of the Bears has been good.
Don't matter if you a playoff caliber team, or if you consider to be a contender, you have to beat that team at home.
Okay,
it's not like you went to Green Bay; you're at home. So I think the Rams win that division. We're gonna go ahead and label the Seattle Seahawks as pretenders. They had a few couple good games, but they were just inconsistent throughout the whole season. You know what I mean? With the Rams, they have been, hit with injuries early on. They got a young team, but throughout the season they started getting healthier. Their young players started developing, being more productive, and the
defense started stepping up. Heavy.
So we got a good Rams team. So I think out of that division, the Rams are going to win that division, and that is the contender out of the NFC West. Seattle, you off. You off. It was a must-win game. I had to see a win, but on the flip side of that, I do think they play each other one more time.
Who, the Rams and the Seahawks?
I believe so.
Possibly so. But honestly, the way the Rams have been playing versus where the Seahawks have been playing, even though the Rams just had one of the ugliest games of football I ever saw.
Yep, they play each other one more time.
They had one of the ugliest games of football I ever saw with the San Francisco 49ers in a snooze fest of 12-6.
Yep, but found a way to win.
And Juwan Jennings only had 4 fucking points in fantasy.
Yep. But found a way to win on the road. Must-win game for the 49ers if they wanted to have some playoff chance. And they weren't able to do it, and the Rams were able to do it without even scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, so I mean, you find ways to win ugly games. I think that's a characteristic of a contending team.
Hence the Chiefs finding ways to win ugly games all year.
Yeah, but this is besides the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, parlaying it into finding ways to win ugly games, we have another wonderful segment, a fan favorite segment, probably one of my favorite personal segments. It's a little segment that we like. What time is it? This is a segment we like to call Clock Out For Me, Big Dawg.
You can go ahead and clock out.
Oh.
Right now?
Oh.
Yeah.
Glad you asked.
Okay.
Love that you asked this question. And some people have been saying that he already got fully clocked out. They said he ain't coming back. They said he played his last snap as a Falcon. But I definitely think after 9 interceptions and 1 touchdown
in 5 weeks.
5 weeks? You couldn't get it right in a month and some change, brother? Kirk Cousins. You got to clock out for me, Big Dawg.
He should have been on watch.
Well, I think he's been on watch for a minute since we went to the game and somebody yelled, put Michael Penix in. Put Michael Penix in. I think he was already on watch. What was the atmosphere like? This guy went to the game, Monday Night Football. Yeah. Fun fact, he's not a Falcons fan, but he's been to more Falcons games than Giants games.
That's crazy.
I think he's a sneaky Falcons fan. I mean, but go ahead.
If I lived in Seattle, it would have been the same thing. If I lived in Minnesota,
that game was in Vegas, brother.
The same thing.
That game was in Vegas, brother.
It was Vegas,
whatever,
baby. Vegas. Nah, it was good. Atlanta showed up.
Okay.
They showed up. One thing I would say about the stadium in Vegas, I believe that the Las Vegas Raiders will rarely ever have a home field advantage because it's in Vegas. So everybody, opposing teams, they go to Vegas. They fill up that stadium.
Okay.
You have Raiders fans there, obviously, but it seemed like it was either 50-50 or 60-40 opposing team.
I can make the same argument about the Falcons though.
Nah, Vegas is different. It could be because everybody's gonna go to Vegas.
Everybody come to Atlanta.
Everybody's gonna go to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna fill up that stadium, and that's how it was. It was like a lot of people. You know, I ain't trying to go that way, but we can go that way off camera. But it's Vegas. That's all I'm gonna say. And I mean, the atmosphere was dope. It was a lot of energy. Even though the game was blah, it was, you know what I mean. The game was whack.
Why was the game blah?
Because it wasn't nothing was exciting. There was nothing. It was
Kirk
only one
Cousins
touchdown.
Wasn't doing shit.
It was
man.
one touchdown scored off of Drake London killed Buddy on the move.
Yes, he did.
But outside of that, it was nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? Like the Raiders couldn't move the ball. And
Sincere McCormick got hurt. I knew that was cooked.
Yeah, and then
Madison
Max Crosby
was not
didn't
doing
play,
nothing.
so that had an impact in the game as well. And this
still
is the
got
thing,
pressure.
though. This is the thing. For you to go in Vegas to play one of the worst teams in the league, if you want to be considered a contender, a playoff contender, after you get the doors beat off of you by the Minnesota Vikings the week prior, this is the game where you come and you dominate. This is the game where you put up 35 points on this sorry team. This is the game where you show that I'm a legit contender. But they are not that. So this right here just showed and proved to me that this Atlanta Falcons team is not a playoff team. I don't care what they do for the rest of the season. They are not a playoff team. The same Chargers team that the Bucks played beat the Falcons. But the Bucks went out there on the road and hung 40 on them.
Beat the brakes off the Chargers.
So that just goes to show me the Falcons, they're not ready to be a playoff contender just yet.
So you don't feel like with the quarterback switch, they, as our friend in the stadium got his request granted, they are putting Michael Penix in. You don't think that even with Michael Penix, the Falcons have a legitimate shot at anything?
No, I think because the problem is it's the play calling. Part of the problem is the play calling.
As we discussed, I told you the main thing, I didn't even feel like all of that was Kirk Cousins' fault.
Yeah, it's not all his fault, but part of it is the play calling. And I think the scheme that this offensive coordinator runs is not going to coincide with the traits and the skill set of Michael Penix. Michael Penix came from Washington, spread offense, 5 wide, picking apart the defenses, throwing the ball out. All this left, right zone, outside zone, I don't think that's going to work out.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I didn't like the play calling on offense and defense, to be honest. I feel like the defense gives up way too much in front of them when they have the personnel to be able to play a lot more man coverage than they do. And then I feel like the run, you mentioned that the run plays are vanilla, but I just don't think you utilize the personnel as well as you could. Kyle Pitts is still way underutilized.
They tried to go to him early, get him involved in the game early. He got a couple catches, couple targets and stuff like that, which I like. But, I mean, it's just you don't see any screens to the outside. You don't see trying to get Bijan in space. You don't see, 5 wide spread. I don't know. It just seemed like the Atlanta Falcons, they play very conservative all the time.
Way too conservative.
They play in a conservative style of football, offensively and defensively.
You
offensively, they're not too aggressive. Defensively, they're not aggressive enough. They don't blitz.
You have legitimate athletes on that offense and defense for real. On offense, you got Drake, who's a good jump ball wide receiver. You have Kyle Pitts, who's a very athletic tight end. Who has huge upside and wide receiver skill set. You have Bijan Robinson, who is agile, very elusive. I personally like to call him Bijan Iverson. He crosses people up. You got Tyler Algier, who can be a power running back at times or a downhill running back. You have Darnell Mooney, who can give you speed plays at wide receiver. So you have enough versatility on offense for you to mix it up and do different things. Now, Michael Penix will be more mobile than Kirk Cousins because Kirk Cousins is a fucking statue.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this.
Frankly,
he is a statue, Kirk Cousins, but Michael Penix is
and
not
that
a
O-line is
scrambling.
not helping him.
He's not gonna run like you think.
I don't need him to be a scrambling quarterback. I just need you to move a little bit.
He may or may not. Trust me, Michael Penix. Watching him in college, he did not do a lot of that.
I don't expect him to
sits back
scramble
there and throws the ball. That's what he likes to do.
I don't expect him to be a scrambling quarterback. I'm not looking for Michael Vick. But I do need a little bit more elusiveness in the pocket, enough to extend the play just a little bit. I'm not saying you got to scramble all the way out and give me 10 yards in the backfield. You don't need to be Kyler Murray. But you can't just sit still and not be able to back up when it's pressure coming or doing this, especially because the O-line has not been sensational. Mm-hmm. So pressure can get back there if you're playing against an opponent with a decent blitz. And even with this upcoming game, which I guess since we're talking about it, let's parlay that into another segment that we like to call around here MustSeeTV.
Man, these folks
Must see.
got their hitties.
You know what I'm saying? It's a segment where we got to talk about the games that people got to watch. It's a lot of stuff to see around here, but people need to know what specifically. Like, what specifically do they need to tune into? And that's what this is about. First one on my list. Now, you might disagree with this.
I disagree. Don't waste your time watching this shit.
It's your team and my team. He says don't waste your time watching this shit. Off camera, he says, we got to get them tickets today.
Yeah. There's better games to go. Let's go watch.
But the game he wants to go to and has recruited me to come to is the New York Football Giants versus the Atlanta Falcons.
I'm going.
All right, whatever. Giants versus the Falcons in the game. The reason why it's a must-see TV game, in my personal opinion, it's the first game with Michael Penix starting at quarterback. Mm-hmm. The Falcons are fighting for either a playoff or a wild card spot.
I think they're done.
But they still fighting.
I think they're done.
You think they done, but they won their last game despite not having a good performance. They still won that last game, so it still leaves them in contention. And they have the Giants, the Commanders, and they have the Panthers for their last 3 games.
1 and 2.
You said 1 and 2? I don't think they're going to go 1 and 2. I do think it's a legitimate possibility of 2 and 1. But they got a legitimate shot at winning out. Not going to say they don't. They do have a legitimate chance at winning out. Not saying that I think it's going to happen. I think 2 and 1 is a lot more realistic. However, I do think they have a legitimate chance at winning out. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, this is an important game for the Falcons. The Giants, not so much.
Nah.
They don't give a damn. They want Cam Ward.
Tank for Cam.
Tanking for Cam. Either that or I've also heard rumors that your boy Joe Shane might go after Kirk Cousins.
Why would you go after that trash?
As a bridge quarterback so that he could stand in there, and if they draft a quarterback similar to how the Falcons did, they could have him to kind of bridge them as they go get another quarterback. I don't love that concept. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. However, it is the Giants, and they've made worse decisions.
The only bridge I want is ludicrous bridges.
Hey, man, listen.
Fuck that.
Hey, man, listen. But for that reason in particular, I do think it's must-see TV. I think everybody wants to know, what is Michael Penix going to do? He was top 10.
You know what he's going to do?
He's
He's going to play better than Kirk Cousins. You know that. Can't get any worse.
He said it can't get worse.
Can't get worse than that.
I mean, we're going to see.
Yeah. I already know what's going to happen.
All right, man. So, besides the Giants and the Falcons, what's another must-see TV game for you? What do these people need to see?
A divisional game. TNF.
Okay.
Thursday night football. Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers.
I like this. I like this game a lot.
This is going to be a good game because both of these teams right now, as it sits, are in the playoffs in the 6 and 7 seed.
Yep.
So What their records? Both of the records. What Broncos 9-5,
How the hell
Chargers
did
8-6.
How the hell did the Broncos have the same record as the Ravens? How did that happen?
The Ravens was losing games that they shouldn't have lost.
Defense.
Yeah.
But yes.
Big game here for the AFC West. Broncos, Chargers. I think it's going to be a good game. I think a little bit low scoring on that side of it, but I do like the Broncos to win this game right here.
I can see it being low scoring. Both defenses have been stepping up and playing really well this season. So I can definitely see it low scoring for all you over and under people. What's the line at on this game?
I think it's 2.5.
No.
Yep.
41.
Oh, for the total.
That under don't look terrible. It's kind of low. I'm not an over and under guy, so I'm not going to pretend to be and tell you that I know the best over and under picks. However, it looks a little underish with the two teams just playing.
Vegas think it's low. This is going to be a low scoring game too.
So there might be something out there for y'all. But yes, I do like this because both teams are 6-7, like you just said, in the playoff spots. No way in hell they're catching up to the Chiefs, but they do have a chance to solidify their wild card spots with a win tonight. So I do think it's a very important game. I do think both teams try to cook up and compete. I mean, just because it's a division game anyway, so they're always going to compete. So I do like it.
I think the Broncos get a win here. It gives them a lot more breathing room.
Yeah.
And kind of locks them in, I would say, for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Chargers win. It puts a little bit more pressure on the Broncos.
Chargers having a bounce. They will get a bounce back win tonight after losing and getting the brakes beat off of them by the Buccaneers.
Yeah, they need it.
They kind of need it.
They need it. They need it.
They do need it. I don't know. I love my Chargers. That's bolt up, but that's a tough one.
Broncos country, let's ride. What other game you got?
How about the Steagles?
Who?
The Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. For those of you that don't know, fun fact. Back in the day, way back in the day, the NFL was in a bit of a turmoil. A lot of teams moved over to different places. You had the Baltimore Colts. You had the Baltimore Browns at one point. You had teams that were all in different cities. It's crazy looking at it now. But at one point, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles actually combined as a franchise, and the nickname for them were the Steagles. So that's where I came up for that. That's a little NFL fun fact, just because I do research and shit, and we really do this. But Philadelphia Eagles versus the Pittsburgh Steelers should be a very good game.
They play the Commanders. They just played the Steelers.
They played the Commanders.
Yeah, they just played the Steelers.
Why you let me say all that then?
Fun fact.
You just wanted a fun fact? Well, excuse me. Not the Steelers. It's the Commanders, but also a very important game because it's a division game. So the Commanders in this game, they're trying to keep a wild card spot, so they got to play hard.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, as you just indicated, are probably a runaway train for the division, but definitely in a tight battle for the NFC East and possibly getting the first round bye, if they can win out the rest of their games, which are division games, but very winnable division games. So I think it's a very must-see TV game. I think it's something that is very doable for the Eagles. However, they're going to get a fight from the teams they got to play against because it's a division game, and they're going to get a fight.
Not from the Giants.
I mean, this guy hates his own team so much.
Oh, man.
But I think Washington is probably their most formidable opponent, even though the Cowboys have come on a little bit as of late, been playing a little bit better football and won a few games as of late. So I can't say that the Cowboys won't try to compete, but the last time they played them, the Eagles beat the hell out of them. And I don't know if they have a chance to really do anything different this time.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw one on there. Steelers Ravens. That's a good one. Must see TV because that division is kind of tight. So this win is very important right now. Steelers are 10-4. Ravens are 9-5.
Okay.
So must win game for I think the Ravens on this side because if I'm not mistaken, I think the Steelers beat the Ravens earlier in the season. So I believe that this is a get back game for the Ravens, so they can win the division. Like you mentioned, how the hell are the Ravens 9-6 just like the other
9-5? Yeah.
So
they ain't winning that division.
who winning it? Steelers?
Steelers, probably.
You think so?
I mean, at this point, my issue with the Ravens, and I've been saying it over and over and over again. I don't know if anybody in Raven Nation or Baltimore is listening to me, but the defense is the problem. The defense is not as good as it was in previous years. In previous years, your defense has carried the team, and they were able to clean up any mistakes that the offense made because the defense played so good. And the problem is you have now transferred one of the integral pieces of that defense over to the team that you have to play against this week, and that's a problem because Queen made a difference in that defense.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, brother. I think the Ravens close out the season and win the division. They got Pittsburgh, the Texans, and the Browns. Pittsburgh has Ravens, Chiefs, and the Bengals.
They can beat the Bengals for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I know how much you guys love Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
They can actually beat the Ravens with that defense. They could beat the Ravens because they did it before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not gonna put it past them. I get it. I understand the Ravens are at home. I don't like 6.5 points in this spread. Yeah.
Speaking of spreads,
speaking of that,
let's parlay that.
Okay, you want to parlay?
Yeah, let's parlay that.
Love a good parlay. Let's parlay that.
Yeah, we're gonna parlay that into our next segment. That one of the most important segments because this is what we talk about making money.
What's it called?
Best bets. Sprinkle your poker chips. So last week on the best bets plays,
What happened?
did I go 2-1 again?
2-1.
Mr. 2-1, just call me that.
Both of us went 2-1.
Just call me Mr. 2-1.
Both of us went 2-1 again.
Just call me Mr. 2-1. It's 2-1 every single week, okay?
Damn.
But speaking about this Pittsburgh and Baltimore game, you said you don't like the 6.5. Well, that's one of my best bets because I don't like the 6.5 either.
Okay.
On the Baltimore side. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 6.5. Divisional game. They just came off a loss to Philadelphia. They was in a close battle with the Ravens early on in the season. They won 16-18. I do think the Ravens get back this game, but it's Pittsburgh, right? So they're going to be physical. Only thing I'm worried about is George Pickens not playing because
somebody might get stabbed.
As we see, without George Pickens, the Pittsburgh offense is bleh. You know what I'm saying? It ain't hitting them.
Now, I will say that goes into the Ravens' favor that they don't have George Pickens because the Pittsburgh Steelers' problem is they can't score a lot of points most of the time, especially against a decent defense. But the thing going in Pittsburgh Steelers' favor is the Baltimore Ravens don't have that decent of a defense this season. So, with that being said, I do think it's a very coverable spread. Now, will they win this game without George Pickens? I don't know about that. But it's a very coverable spread.
Yeah. So give me Pittsburgh plus 6.5. My next one is Denver plus 2.5. I do like Denver to beat the Los Angeles Chargers. I've been riding the Denver wave for a little bit, and I'm going to keep riding that thing.
Broncos country.
I do like Denver. I do like the defense.
I
like what Bo
don't
Nix has been
fully
doing.
get why Denver is the dog. Maybe it's because the Chargers are at home in this game, but I don't quite get why Denver is a dog. I don't get it.
Don't understand. Maybe J.K. Dobbins came back. Maybe Ladd McConkey is playing.
J.K.'s not.
I think Ladd is playing. But,
Ladd is playing, but J.K. ain't,
but yeah, I mean,
to my knowledge.
well, I mean, the Chargers has a good defense as well, so I kind of see where it could be. I mean, good defense versus a rookie quarterback, you know. But give me the Broncos plus 2.5. And my last one is going to be the San Francisco 49ers. They're playing Miami. It's at +1, so basically like a pick 'em, but I do like the the San Francisco play on this. Miami, there's a lot of beef going on in Miami right now. I think Tyreek Hill's unhappy.
Tyreek Hill's tied.
Yeah, he tied. Ty's tied. So give me the 49ers. They lost against, the Rams in that nasty game a week ago. So I think they bounce back this week and get a dub just for pride purposes. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I got Pittsburgh +6.5, Denver +2.5, and then the 49ers +1 or pick them.
Okay. Well, my picks this week, I'm going to start off with one that's been playing really well, and I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams.
I love the Rams.
The Rams.
I'm a fan.
The Rams are a 3-point favorite in this game on the road against the Jets. The Jets are ass, man. Listen, I know they won against the Jaguars.
They've been playing okay.
They beat the Jaguars barely.
Yeah, they did. It was an ugly game.
Devontae Adams cooked.
Another field goal kicker miss.
Right. Devontae Adams fucking cooked that game. The problem is Brian Thomas also cooked that fucking defense. Yeah. Listen, you out here having barely wins against the Jaguars with McEnroe Jones at quarterback. I don't see you beating Stafford and Kyron and Puka and Cooper and that defense with Jared Verse getting pressure on the quarterback. I don't see it.
That's
-3?
That's a different offense they about to see.
I feel like the point spread is supposed to be higher. I feel like I'm robbing Vegas.
Yeah.
Give me the Rams -3 in this game. I like it a lot. That's probably my favorite one out of these.
Yeah, I like that one too.
The next one I'm going to take is Minnesota -3. Minnesota Vikings. 12-2, man. They've been cooking. They've been playing really good football, and they got a solid division game opponent here playing against. Oh, not division. I'm sorry. They're playing against the Seattle Seahawks, who have been a little bit up and down, a little bit of a roller coaster. I feel like they definitely need Kenneth Walker over there in Seattle, but Minnesota Vikings, man, -3. I like it a lot against Seattle, even though Seattle is at home, and historically speaking, the 12
don't matter.
man
Jordan Love went in there
good.
and beat the brakes off of him.
Jordan Love went in there and did
so
it.
Sam Darnold gonna go light him up too.
I think he can. I think Jets, Addison.
Let's have a day.
They gonna have a day.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones, I think you got the capability of having a day. Because what does Seattle do extremely well? Exactly.
Yeah.
So give me Minnesota -3. The last one, I'm going to go ahead and take the half of the Steagles, the other half of the Steagles. Since you picked Pittsburgh, I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles. Give me the Eagles -3.5 versus the Commanders. I just don't think the Commanders have enough firepower to really sit there and stand with the Eagles, especially after they barely won a game against the Saints, who are beat up with a rookie backup quarterback.
Yeah, they messed up a parlay of mine too.
Yeah, they did. No, I had them money line. I had them money line because I didn't quite feel the point spread.
Look, it was -1.5 on the teaser. They lost by 2.
I think I had them -0.5 because I took a 7-point teaser.
Well, they won by 1.
Listen, 6 points, 6.5 points, 7 points on teasers. They all matter. Okay? If you're feeling conservative, go with a 7-point teaser. 6.5 still pays pretty well. But me personally, if I'm feeling kind of conservative, I like to go 6.5. I mean, I like to go 7. Sorry, I like to go 7. And looking at all of these best bets that we just had, that's not bad for a 7-point teaser. Just in case anybody needs a teaser alert out there. Not bad for a 7-point teaser. Giants 8.5. Falcons got a rookie quarterback starting. I don't know, man. Seems a little teaserish to me. Giants might be able to cover that in a teaser. Denver Broncos, we already mentioned them. The Chiefs, they've beaten one team by more than a touchdown. And they playing against the Texans at 3.5. Teaser puts them at 10.5.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, all I'm saying is just watch out for the teaser alerts. But that's the best bets that we have for these teams. But. Did you put the dog up, though?
Who I had last week?
Last week, you had the Steelers.
Yeah, and they screwed me.
Yes, and I told you.
Yeah, whatever.
Jaguars screwed me because Devontae Adams fucking cooked. But, hey, it happens.
Well, this week's Dog of the Week.
Who's your dog of the week this week, man? Let the people know what you got.
I'm gonna go with the Panthers, man. At home, I like a good home dog.
Speaking of screwed me last week, the Panthers got their ass blown out by the Dallas Cowboys and Cooper
that was
Rush.
weird. I don't understand how they lost that game.
You had close calls with the Chiefs and the Eagles, and you come out here and get blown out by the fucking Cowboys.
That's the NFL.
Screwed my teaser.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked. But
Screwed a perfectly good teaser and parlay. If they would have just covered.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but give me the Panthers, man. They're at home. They playing the Cardinals. Cardinals did put a beat down on the Patriots last week.
Yes,
Cardinals, they do have a lot more to fight for, but I do think the Panthers, they have an opportunity to upset the Cardinals because the Cardinals have been inconsistent over the course of the season. They have lost games that they should have won. So I feel like this could be a good spot for the Panthers to get a win, upset the Cardinals, and kind of put a damper on their playoff hopes. So give me the Panthers as my underdog this week.
Okay.
Who you got?
I think I like them a little bit more to covering than the win, but I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
I get you. And it hurts my heart to pick the team that I'm about to pick, but I gotta roll with Broncos country.
Let's ride.
In terms of dogs, I don't even understand why this team is the dog. And even though the Chargers are near and dear to my heart, they are one of my two teams that I have in the NFL. However, the Broncos been playing a little bit better football than the Chargers in totality, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I got to go with the Denver Broncos over the Chargers. I think it's an important game. It's a division game. They have things to fight for. Although the Chargers are at home, I think the Denver Broncos do have a very great shot at winning this game. The Chargers got to produce a little bit more offense to be able to handle that Broncos defense. I just don't know if it's enough weapons, especially without J.K. Dobbins, to be able to really sit here and put a damper on the Denver Broncos spirits right now. So I got to go with the Broncos in this game.
Yeah, I like the Broncos. You know me. I've been riding on them.
Yeah, you picked them in your best bets. So I know you agree. But yeah, man. That's all we got.
That's all we got, man.
So make sure y'all like, share, comment, subscribe to the channel, man. Make sure you stay tuned for more and more episodes. Basketball season is really in full effect after that phenomenal NBA Cup game. Just want to send a quick shout out to them. That was a very competitive game for about 3 quarters. 3.5 quarters. 3.5 quarters. It was very competitive, but it was very entertaining to watch. Very fun game. And once again, the props was hitting. Them boys was out there playing. Shout out to AJ Green.
Oh man, it was so funny. It was a lot of people at the stadium, at the arena. You know they some gambling degenerates.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I got Brooke Lopez half an assist. They was talking PRAs like a motherfucker.
PRAs, blocks, rebounds.
They were going crazy.
I love
They're
it.
talking about that stuff.
I'm getting ready to plug some as soon as we get done with this. So yeah, man, I do like that. Props made easy. It'll help you a lot with those sports bets because I was able to come in and pick up a couple of really good plays. I'm gonna show him on the phone real quick while we got y'all on cam, just so y'all can see the greens on these things. It's legit, man.
They're cashing them in.
Props made easy, went through, and they came through for your boy, and they gave me a couple good picks. Shout out to Prophecy up in Tennessee. My boy gave me a couple solid plays. So we put that together, and we cooked up a very nice ticket. And they came through. So Props Made Easy, man. Hit that link in the description and win you some monies, man. Don't sit here and fuck around with it. Just go ahead and do it.
Let's do it.
But as we say around here, parlays, making money line plays. May all these bets continue to pay. And if you're having a rough day, it's okay. Just send out some more bets my way. Drop them into the comments because I might place them if you chase them. So, man, peace, love, and hair grease.
We out. And so.